Good morning, everyone. My name is Chris Forrester, and welcome to this latest NDS session called Perspectives. And we have a little unimportant topic this morning: the future of linear programming in an on-demand universe. It's crucial to everything that this IBC exhibition is concerned with. We have a great panel of three experts. On your extreme left, Yoni Hashkes, Senior Vice President, Advanced Products and Markets at NDS. Christian Constant, Vice President, New TV Products at Kabel, Deutschland. Welcome, Christian. And from the UK, Andrew Ioannou, Director of Strategy at ITV. Gentlemen, first question, and I'll come to you, Christian. You're Kabel Deutschland. You can handle just about everything down the pipe that the industry wants to deliver. Is the world of unlimited bandwidth, your unlimited bandwidth, maybe tomorrow as well as today, making the traditional pay TV model or even the traditional broadcast model obsolete?
I don't really think so, because it might look like there's unlimited bandwidth, but in fact that's a huge investment, and somebody who's going to be wanting to serve high quality video down those pipes is going to really have to keep up with that investment as well. So today, as a cable operator with 9 million subscribers that we currently have, we still think that for quite a long time ahead of us, serving efficient cable programming using our traditional broadcast delivery is the most cost efficient, and therefore for the customer the best way to get video.
Good answer. Andrew, let me come to you. You're a network broadcaster, free to air. Generally, that's your USP. Do you see much threat to your broadcast model?
No, I don't. I think that as bandwidth increases, I think that it presents an opportunity.
Keep it close.
Sorry, is that okay? I think as bandwidth increases, it presents an opportunity to get more content out to the consumers that leads them back into viewing our linear channels. I still think there's a way to go with bandwidth. I think there's, it's certainly in the UK, in the cities we've got a wide range of bandwidth out to the consumer. So I still think there's a way to go from being able to deliver a lot of content over to the home.
Yoni, you're charged with having to solve these problems for your customers. How do you see the battle between conventional linear television and on-demand and OTT working out?
Well, I think we see this as an incremental capability. OTT extends functionality, extends reach of content for the platforms, and all our product offerings now are focused at doing that, extending functionality and extending content reach. I think if you look at content owners like ITV, for instance, one big gap they have there it's a traditional gap, is they have massive libraries of content that is great content, but is underutilized. It's just sitting there in their back libraries and sold in various VOD type libraries and experiences. I think that using new technology, you can increase the value of that back library, creating different types of linear channel, increased distribution, and so that actually may benefit large library owners.
Yoni is absolutely right. You have, along with your production partners, a massive archive of material going back 50 odd years. And so consequently, the likes of Google TV, Apple TV, you should be welcoming them with open arms, because there's an extra pound or dollar to be earned from the exploitation of that archive. Is that the case?
Yeah, absolutely. Yoni's absolutely correct. We do have a large archive. ITV's been around since the early 50s, so we've got a lot of content. We've got content that goes back. A lot of people remember, and we're looking at different ways to be able to monetize that content, to be able to deliver that out to the consumer. And certainly, Apple TV, Google TV, and delivery of content through a pay mechanism. That is the opportunity that we're looking at to complement our linear channels.
Now let me pose the question to you though. It's fine to have a standard or a Brideshead Revisited there on the archive if the consumer wants to draw it down. That's all well and good. But do you see the likes of Apple and maybe Google understanding pay TV in a packaged form?
Yeah, I do. The content remains king. I think that's a given. 52% of the content on our linear channels is ITV produced and created, and I think that Google and Apple TV see that as an opportunity, and we certainly see it as an opportunity to get our content out there and increase revenue.
Christian, really, Apple TV or a Netflix type service, they don't even have to ask your permission. They can go over your wires straight into the home. Is that a concern to you?
I think whenever Apple does something, it has to be concerned, because if you're a company with that kind of brand, with that kind of thousands of software developers, even if you're not traditionally in the TV business, you can learn very fast. So we're very respectful of anything that comes out of California, basically, whether it be Google or Apple TV. Now, having said this, of course we have some customers who have Apple TV. Actually, I'm one myself, as an additional way to consume video in the household. But as I said, with our 9 million customers, we have to serve something which is good for everybody, for the young professionals, for the families, for the elder people, and Apple TV, the way it's constructed right now, and I think for the coming years, is not going to be a mainstream product. It's an additional way to rent, to buy, basically, principally movies or TV series. It's a long shot from replacing any traditional TV consumption.
Do you see yourselves seeking a slice of that revenue that you and others like you are putting into Apple's pockets and likely putting into Netflix's pockets if you're in the US? Do you want a little return on that participation?
I think we have something better than that. We have our own VOD services, and as most of you probably know, there's no exclusive video on demand rights. So basically, whether it be Apple, Netflix, Maxdome in Germany, or us, we basically are competing on the same library of content. And our big advantage is that we as cable operators, we can provide that with quality of service, no buffering, no download, nothing, just pure. You hit pause, and there comes a HD cable quality TV stream straight to your house. And so for me, that's miles better than OTT, because OTT for me means it's something streamed without quality of service out of the open internet. Why, as a customer, would you want to have that when, with the same remote control, you have access to a top quality HD stream? Why on earth would you prefer to have OTT?
Well, Yoni, that's a difficult dilemma, because you've got Andrew here saying, yeah, we're happy to embrace Apple or Google or more or less anyone who buys our content from us, who leases our content, and he's perfectly happy to let his cable wires be used. That suggests that Apple TV and their rivals are absolutely going to have an impact in tomorrow's pay TV world.
Was that a question?
Yes.
Well, yes, they do. Exactly what we just heard here from both sides, the content side and distribution side. There is the opening now for disruption in the world of delivery of entertainment. But consumers are quite simple creatures. You see now there have been many regimes that have been overthrown in the last few months. It just gets replaced by another regime. People look for leaders, they look for consolidation, they don't like fragmentation. And at this point in time, the industry is in a very fragmented situation. Many content providers, many technologies to get it into your living room or into your experience. That will flesh its way out. So yes, there is a battle, a large battle, in fact, maybe a world war, so to speak. But there's no reason to think that incumbents if played correctly, won't have the upper hand. They are held back a little bit from history. They have to carry expenditure they made before. They have to carry legacy investment in infrastructure. But there's also an advantage. That infrastructure gives them larger reach, better service capabilities, better understanding of the customer base, better tracking of use. These other players, Apple TV, they don't really care too much about the quality. They don't know about it. They don't have that real direct contact with the customer. So at the end of the day, I think that the advantage is with the operators. And I think ITV is probably right to try out all these different opportunities. But ultimately, I think they'll find best monetization of their content with the platforms as they improve their ability to deliver that in ever better experiences.
Now, while you've got the microphone, let me follow that up with another question. We've seen the massive difference that PVRs make to a viewing experience, not damaging conventional broadcasters or pay TV broadcasters. People are simply time shifting. They're watching the programs. They're sometimes skipping the ads, but we don't worry about that too much. But they are watching. They are at least consuming the programs and having impressions of the ads. Is scheduled TV therefore on a march towards death, where because so many people will have so many different opportunities to capture content?
So I don't want my answer to come across as insulting the average consumer, but we don't like making decisions. We like having a simple life, and we like following somebody. And following that someone is my favorite channel, my favorite brand. Traditionally, technologically, there wasn't much choice. It was a channel. So we would go to the 3 or 4 channels that I like, and only then, if I didn't find something I wanted, I'd go to my PVR, and only then would I go to VOD. And I imagine if you look at the audience here and take a count of hands about how many break into a cold sweat when they're sitting there with the partner and they've got to decide what movie to choose from the VOD library, it's horrendous. And I differentiate catch-up from VOD.
Yes.
Technologically, it's the same, but it's a whole different business model and experience. So I'll put catch-up under PVR. Forgive me technologically. Pure VOD is not a great success, pure VOD. And therefore, I do think linear TV with perhaps ever more evolving user experience models will prevail. So you tune on, you come home after a hard day, you tune on to your favorite channel, and it feeds you. Oh, you have the energy to press show me more like?
Yep.
Yeah, that may happen.
Yep. Christian, you're, if you like, channel agnostic. You're the delivery pipe. However, do you see the opportunity of OTT as an opportunity or a threat? Do you see how do you see it changing the paradigms of the normal broadcasting model?
I think OTT has shown that there was a gap in what has been offered traditionally to customers and what they were expecting. So when services like YouTube appeared on the internet, people consumed them on PCs not because the PC was fun to consume video on. It's just because that's the only place where they could get it. So you can find these millions of videos, from the past. It's like a huge library of content that you have there at your fingertip. And I think the job of operators like us is to tell customers, okay, the last years you had to consume that on a PC because there wasn't really an alternative choice. But hang on, we're going to bring that in high quality onto set-top boxes that we deliver to you. And so I think we're now catching up on that gap. And I think it will be soon until we have this offering complete.
Andrew, the backbone of ITV is still mass market broadcasting, reaching that audience at home, singles, couples, families. That's your bread and butter, as it is for the French public broadcasters, the German public broadcasters, not public broadcasters, commercial broadcasters. How important in that mix do you think the social activity is? People sitting down for their favorite soap opera of an evening. To what extent is that still dominating your thinking?
I think that's still a huge part of people's lives. Sitting down to after a hard day at work and watching content in that kind of lean back mode is still dominant, and we're seeing growth in that area too. Yes. And I think that people still want that family experience. They want that partner experience. And that is certainly, our business. We're seeing that grow. Well, I think what the consumer's looking for is simplicity.
Yeah.
I think they're looking for simplicity and accessibility. And I think that one of the things that needs to happen, certainly from a technology point of view, is a leveling of the playing field. People can get to content. And I agree with Yoni. I know you're looking for some controversy here, but I was actually, the numbers are there for catch-up TV. People go to catch-up TV a lot more to get access to content that they missed on linear TV.
Absolutely.
VOD is still playing catch up, so to speak. So people sitting down to have that experience at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock on a Saturday night to watch X Factor, that's here, and it's going to grow.
I think it's also fair to say, though, and particularly over the last couple of years, ITV in particular, but I mean all public broadcasters, they've had to raise their game. Do you see that continuing? People will only watch good programming, provide good programming, and they will watch it.
Yeah, I agree, and everybody is raising their game. It's all about the content. There is a lot more content out there, and the consumers are smart, but they're also very loyal, and they will go back to the content providers that give them what they want to see. So growth in content certainly, but from a technology point of view, I think that being able to utilize all the platforms to deliver content to the consumer, where they can get access to it and they can discover it. I think that's one of the most important things for a broadcaster like ITV.
In the data that you have, your local ratings data, Christian, in Germany, how important still is appointment to view, the sort of special events? Now, X Factor is an absolutely special event. Eurovision Song Contest might be a very special event. A big soccer game might be a very special event. How important are these events in the viewing mix for the German viewer?
They're very important because we have a curse and an opportunity in Germany. We are absolutely last in class in terms of digitalization, hence in terms of on-demand viewing. And the opportunity is that we have all these customers to convert in the next years, that this is what they can use and get convenience out of that. So I think appointment TV, as you just called it, will remain the backbone of TV consumption. Because to take a simple example, to have catch-up TV, you have to have a first linear airing. You have to build a brand, something that people federate around, something they talk at the coffee machine in the morning about. If there's no such thing, there's not going to be any catch-up viewing as well.
Now, I've been given the wind-up, as you've all noticed, but let me come along the panel and ask one of my favorite questions, and I want each of you to look forward 10 years, please. So if today non-broadcast TV is taking a 1% share or a 5% share, but a very modest share, where will it be in 10 years' time? Yoni, how much of our viewing will not come from established linear TV broadcasting, do you sense?
Well, if the question is a pure operational infrastructure question, I think we may be as high as 40 or 50%, but it'll be seamless to the consumer. So it may not come from the satellite, it may come over fiber to the home. That's a technical question. From a user experience perspective, I still think we'll see predominantly linear programming. I do think we will see massive use of real-time technology to enhance the experience, and actually, rather than taking people away from the now, it'll bring people. The now will become much more relevant when 50,000 people are together watching an event and affecting what's happening with that event. I think that will make the now aspect, which is a linear TV, premise, be much more important. So I would tend to think that the now factor will be almost as important in 10 years as it is now.
Good answer. Christian, let's assume that you've got a fully digitized set of circuits 10 years from now. How much of that bandwidth do you think will be to new services, not traditional broadcasting services? Tough question.
In 10 years from now, I would also estimate probably around 50%. 50% traditional viewing, 50%
new viewing.
Viewing.
Andrew? You'll be retired by then.
Hopefully. I think that the numbers will shift. The numbers will change. I don't think they will change that much, simply because the consumer wants to be able to get the content. I think what we will see is the consumer having the choice. They'll have a bigger choice of how they consume that content. They'll be able to have enhanced content alongside their linear channels. I still think linear will be predominant in the industry, but I think the consumer will have more choice, and I don't think they really care about how they get to it. I think that's a technology thing that sits in the background, and I think the complexity needs to go down a level. But it is all about choice. It's about having being able to get to that content when they want to get to it.
A great panel. Thank you very much for your insight. Yoni, Christian, and Andrew. Thank you, gents.
Thank you.